All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's look at math lesson 7. You are rounding numbers to the nearest decimal. Sometimes hundredths, sometimes tenths, sometimes ones. Okay, but we learned this at the beginning of the year, so rather than doing the whole lesson over again, I'm just going to give you a quick refresher on what we found out when we were investigating. Okay, so we decided that our procedure would be you underline the place value you are rounding. Look next door at the number to the right. Number 3, if that number is 4 or below, the rounded number stays the same. If it's 5 or above, the number goes up. Okay, so let's practice with number 2, which is 225.286. And it wants us to round to the nearest hundredth, 1, and 10. Okay, so hundredths. This I'm going to do is number 1, and the 8 is in the hundredths column. Okay, that's the number that we're rounding. So I'm going to look next door, and I'm going to look at the 6. And I'm going to say, self 6. 6. Is 6 higher than 5 or lower than 4? We're on step 3. Okay, so it says if the number is 4 or lower, this number stays the same. If it's 5 or higher, that number goes up. So since 6 is higher than 5, this number is going to go up to the next number. So it's going to round to 225.29. Okay, so, and I would actually circle the 6 after I wrote it on my place value chart because that's the number I looked at to decide what I had to round. Okay, so rounded to the nearest hundredth, you would get 225.29. Okay, so let's go to the ones. I'm going to write in blue. So now we have that starting with the same number, 225.286, rounded to the ones, the nearest one. So number 1, it says underline the place value we are rounding. So we are underlining the 5. Okay, next we're going to look next door. So I'm going to look next door to the right, and then I'm going to look at the 2. Now we're going to go to step 3. If the number is 4 or less, that number stays the same. If it's 5 or higher, it goes up. So 2 is lower than 4. So if we rounded it, it would stay the same. So we would have 225. Okay? So we have hundredths that asks for ones, and I believe it's going to ask for tens. Yep. Okay, so now it wants us to round to the nearest 10. So we start with that same number, 225.286. Number 1, underline the place value that we're rounding. We want to round in the 2 in the tens column. Okay. Second, remember we're going to look right to the number next door to the right, which is 5. Okay. So now number 3, you have to remember your rules. 4 and below, it stays the same. 5 and above, the rounded number goes up to the next number on a number line. So we're looking at 5. The rule is 5 and above, it goes up. So 2 is going to round up to 3, and the 5 is going to go to a 0. So 225.286 would round to 230. Why not 220? Because 225 is closer to 230 than it is to 220. All right, I hope that helps. Message me, call me if you need help. I'm happy to do so, but that was just a quick review. You should remember. All right, see you. Bye. Adios.